Most of the time, I do video reviews of very famous trainers that people like you in the comments ask me to review. This time, it's someone that YouTube proposed to me, and I said, why not? So today, we're gonna see some dog puppy training advice by Nate Schoemer. Let's see. Oh, before that, I'm Dr. Orion, a veterinarian and a veterinary behavior specialist.
Step that I like to do with a brand new puppy. I have a German Shepherd puppy that I'm training, and when I start working with them, when it comes to obedience, I want them to love training. If I can get the dog to want to train, then teaching them new behaviors becomes very, very easy.
Did he say what I think he said? Did YouTube finally found a dog trainer that actually works by rewarding good behaviors and making things fun instead of just randomly punishing or correcting dogs? Wow.
Now, when we're focusing on obedience, in the beginning, we're not worried about markers. We're not going to do engagement training. We're not worried about commands. All I want is for the puppy to understand how to follow a food lure. I'm going to show you how to properly hold the food, and then we're going to have the puppy move in 6 different directions and positions relative to our body.
Luring is a very big thing in dog training. We would like to lure. We can sometimes prompt a specific behavior, for example, getting the dog on a leash and gently pulling them towards us until they're in the right distance from us, and then rewarding them for being there, not as a punishment. We can also shape a specific behavior or even capture a specific behavior, like using a click and then a treat the second that a dog just accidentally did some behavior that we want to capture. So yes, luring is a very good way to start training dogs.
The left heel position, the right heel position, the center, lateral movements right and left directly in front of us, and the backwards follow exercise, which is the first step towards teaching a very nice recall where the dog comes to the sit front position.
I like that there's a reason for the different positions. I would say that in most cases, unless you're gonna work on agility or competition and shows and stuff like that, maybe you don't need all of these behaviors or all of these positions. But it's not a bad thing. That's enrichment for the dog. You can teach the dog as many cues or commands as you would like. Let's continue.
When I'm doing my training with the puppy, when the puppy is moving and I'm actually luring the pup, then I'm praising them. The moment I give the dog the treat, I disengage, I walk away, and what I want is for the puppy to come back and re-engage me. So then the puppy starts to learn that he's making me work instead of me making him work.
I'm not completely sure what he means by that. Making him work, like making the trainer work instead of making the puppy work by coming to him. If you understand what he means, then please write it down in the comments.
And this is what operant conditioning is all about. Operant conditioning is when a dog starts to understand that their behavior has an effect on their environment, meaning they can make good or bad things happen. And in this case, the puppy is making me work for him. And in the end, we get the results that we want. So I'm gonna show you this process, each step, so you can do this with your puppy at home.
So yes, operant conditioning is when the dog or the person or any animal learns that what they're doing will have an effect, technically an effect on themselves in some way. So for example, dog learns that if he barks at you, you're gonna give him a treat. Or the dog learns that if he barks at a different person, that person is gonna walk away, which is different from what we call the classical conditioning or the Pavlovian conditioning, where the dog just creates an association, for example, between the sound of a bell and a treat. In that situation, in the classical conditioning, he only learns that whenever there's a bell, he's going to get a treat. But he doesn't actually need to do anything about it. It's not his behavior that's causing it. Operant conditioning has the reward-based training in it, and it actually also has the punishment-based training in it, because Like the dog learns that if he barks at someone, that someone might go away and he will be rewarded by not being afraid anymore. He might also learn that if he barks at someone, he might get shocked and then he might not bark anymore. Problem is, when we're talking about punishment or that quadrant, is that in order to punish correctly, you need the right timing and you need the right intensity. You need it to be strong enough to stop the behavior and that the dog can still learn and not ignore, but not too strong that it freaks out the dog. Problem is that many times people don't know how to do it correctly, and then it can actually cause more issues to begin with, and that's the reason why we usually try to avoid it. But in this case, it sounds like he's working on the reward-based training and not the punishment, which is good. I just still don't understand the dog controlling the environment by coming to the trainer.
Before we bring out the puppy, I want to show you some key details that you need to know before we get started. Number one is how we're going to handle the food. Now, often a big mistake people make is they hold the food with their fingertips. This is fine if you're just going to do very simple, basic obedience. But if you really want to take it to the next level, you're going to want to place it in your hand and then use your thumb to secure the position. This creates a valley for our dogs to place their muzzle in order to get the food, which helps a great deal when it comes to luring.
Yeah, that's actually a good advice. I will say that sometimes it might be a bit tricky if your dog is too mouthy. So if your dog is too mouthy and is like biting your hand, then this might not work the best.
Now, the puppy is going to see two main pictures when we're luring. One is where it's going to look like this. They're going to bring their head up. This is going to keep our dog's head up so they get used to looking up, which is going to be important for the focused heel. And then the other picture that they're going to see is this right here, when we're moving away and we're guiding them and luring them into different positions. Now, it's similar, but because our dogs have to be generalized, this is slightly different. So we want to make sure the puppy knows where the food is before we start doing the luring exercises.
So we use the word generalized. Basically, yes, dogs will generalize things. Generalization means that you take one thing and you make an association to other things. It can be good or it can be bad. So, for example, if one specific guy with a beard did something bad to the dog, and now the dog will hate or be afraid of all guys with beards and girls with beards out there, then this is generalizing, right? The dog is now generalizing that one specific person to all people with beards. So that's a bad kind of generalization. But it can also be a good kind of generalization, like if I did something good to the dog and now he thinks that all gingers with long hairs in a man bun are actually nice people and he loves them, then that's a good kind of generalization.
And you might have to just sit there and wait for your puppy to figure out the location. Once they know, they will go right to it every time, and it's going to make the luring very easy. Now, you're going to see I'm going to be moving my puppy to the left and to the right. This is what I call my lateral exercises. I'm stepping with my right leg as I'm going to the right. I'm dropping my body down. I'm guiding the puppy, and then I release the food as my hand is moving. A common mistake a lot of people make is they will start to lure and then they'll stop their hand trying to encourage the puppy to get the food. But what that does, if you move and stop, your puppy will start to anticipate that and it will slow your puppy down.
That actually makes sense. But what he's doing actually looks kind of like ninja training. That's pretty impressive.
Rabbit, same thing when I come back the other side. So that's how I'm holding the food and how I'm moving for my left and right lateral movements. For my heel position, as I was showing you the handling before, I'm going to have the puppy right next to my side. What I want is the puppy's nose straight up, and it's going to create a straight line from their jaw down to their chest. This is going to help develop that really nice focused heel position.
Okay, I do understand what he's saying here, and I will say that because of our human limitations, we can't really go down too low. I would prefer, if it's possible, to do things that are natural to the dog, like natural behaviors, natural posture, natural position. So for example, I wouldn't want the dog to walk with his head up to the sky, but in this case, I definitely understand because, it's a puppy and Nate seems like a very tall guy. So I'm not expecting him to walk on his knees in order to work with the dog. And the bigger that the dog will get, and with puppies, especially from big dog breeds, it's going to happen very fast. So at some point, very soon, he's not going to need to do anything like that.
As I'm walking, in the beginning, you might take 1-2 steps. You're praising, good puppy. You release the food, walk away to disengage. Your puppy will eat the food and go, hey, I want more. And then your puppy's gonna come back to you to engage some more training. Now, when I'm guiding the puppy into the heel position, I step back with the leg relative to the side that I want the dog to be in. So if I want the dog to be in the right, you're gonna see I'm gonna step back, I'm gonna guide the puppy with my hand, and then I'm gonna flip around very quickly, catching them on this side, and then I'm gonna start walking. Good.
So switching from side to side is actually also pretty good, and I agree with it, because we don't want the dog to just predict where the hand is going to go. We actually want to make this association stronger by having the dog actually needing to look at our hand or listening to the cue in order to know what to do next, and not just automatically follow something and that's it. Although just that automatic thing is the first step of learning. So again, depending on where you are at the training.
And then again, I release the treat. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. Now, for the center position, you're gonna notice the movement is the same. The only difference is if I step back and I want the puppy to be on my left heel position, that's the movement. We bring it back, boom, right back into that left heel position.
Wax on, wax off. I guess only people my age are gonna know what I mean.
At the center, I like to use my opposite hand, but I'm gonna step back with the same leg. I'm gonna do the exact same movement as in the left heel position, but I'm gonna bring the puppy right into the center. And then I'm gonna walk with the puppy in the center position. And then the last one, the backwards follow, we're walking back. We have our hand, this can be uncomfortable if your dog's a little bit bigger, but we walk back, our hand is nice and close to our body, and then we praise. Once they're in a good position, we can release, and then again, we go quiet for a moment, we disengage, they eat, they come back, and we start it back up again.
Some warning, having your hand right between your legs or right over your family jewels and holding a treat might not always go the way you planned it to go. So maybe only pro dog owners or pro trainers should take the risk, or at least wear a cup. I recommend watching the entire video. I'm gonna link it down below. I just don't want to make this review too long. But I will say that the bottom line is that he is actually using rewards. He is luring the dog and in a way even shaping the behavior to be something that he wants to do. And yes, it's a great thing to do with the puppy. It's enrichment for the puppy. It strengthens the bond between you and the puppy. And I mean, who doesn't want to give treats to a puppy? Why hate or get mad at a little cute puppy when you can pet him and play with him? It's so much more fun, right? If you like this video, and I mean my review, not Nate's video, please like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. If you didn't, still like and subscribe and see if I can actually get better the more time goes by. And in the meanwhile, if you want to see something that I don't like seeing, that I think the trainers that do it are doing something wrong, why not watch this video next?